Welcome to the You Were Born to Run podcast, and I am Cameron Bonsey. I am here with my daughter, Kourtney Bonsey, who is the head coach of men's and women's cross country and women's outdoor track at the University of New England. Court, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great after it took us, half an hour to get on this thing because we're both so discombobulated.
Yep.
And I want you on this podcast many times, but in talking about what people learn from running and how running has helped them, helped our family. You and I talked last night and talking about your process from being a good high school runner, placing at the state meet, participating in the New England's, having a very good high school cross country team, and being that top 5 runner and somewhere around 3 on your high school team. But going through that process of having that desire to run in college, and ultimately going to the University of Maine at Orono, having a wonderful college experience. But that transition from high school to college, and being the dad that I was, and then I didn't think you were going to make it. I didn't think you were going to run in college. And I remember dropping you off and you being this scared, timid little person, and literally having your brother Sam with me and leaving and just going, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. And literally a week later, I picked you up for a family event. You looked different. You were just a little bit fitter. Your energy was amazing. And you were like, this is the best place for me to go to college. It was just so good. And then so many things changed with you. You just became this uber student, a very good runner, captain of the track team. Can you in 30 seconds tell me how that all happened? No.
I
So
don't even
go for
know,
it.
honestly. I mean, I was not a great not bad high school runner, but not a standout by any means. Like you said, I hovered around 3 to kind of 5th person on my high school team. And I don't know, I always did want to run in college though. I always did.
Sure.
I don't remember when I really made that or had that thought that I wanted to do it, but I always did. And probably Brandon going and running in college was probably like part of the reason I wanted to do it, and thought, oh, okay, obviously it's much better than me. But I think Brandon being a collegiate runner, I thought, yeah, that's something that maybe I can do one day. That great. And then got to UMaine and blossomed, I guess.
It was an amazing thing to me, and I've seen you do this. You did it going into high school to a certain degree too, just making these choices of people that you surrounded yourself with and the benefits that you get from these really positive, and in many instances, extraordinary people. But you also seem to find your place. I think of the organization. I know I know the cluster you grew up with. The effort and love was there, but the organization and the process, and you always wanted that. I can remember you as, in 7th or 8th grade saying, can we set up a process for chores and all this stuff? And, your mom and I didn't do the best job of that. And what seemed to happen with you is you go away and you're looking for your place, right? And
Yeah.
you start to figure out how to set up this process. And it didn't just impact your running. You became an amazing student, and so can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's all tied together. I did always crave that organization. I don't know where. Yeah, that was kind of innate. And yeah, I went to college. To be honest, I wish there was some like great answer to why it all clicked, but I still don't really know why. But I went to college, and you're right, I had that first week of preseason where UMaine, we would go away to a summer camp that wasn't being used because it was the end of the summer season, and we would have our running camp there for a week. And I always wanted to go to summer camp too. That was another thing that I wanted, but we always had camp. And so anyway, so it was like all these things combined, and everyone was so much better than me. I was, one of the worst athletes, and I think that was really good for me. I think it's really good for a lot of college athletes to go in and be beat out by a lot of people. And yeah, something clicked, and I started to really take running very seriously. And along with that, I started to take academics seriously. Not in that first semester. First semester, I did not get great grades. I was in the library all the time, but I was socializing in the library.
I think yeah. And then you what?
And then I figured it out after that first semester. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty typical process for most freshmen. Another thing that's not typical is for somebody to come into a situation where they feel that most of the rest of the team is much better than them and still just be totally enthusiastic and somehow not be intimidated. What was that about you that allowed you to do that?
I think I have never really shied away from those types of situations or been intimidated. I wasn't, again, I think that's just something that's innate with me. I remember, I think Mrs. Merrifield, my fourth grade teacher, had that conversation with you and Mom about my academics were a little not great, but she said this girl's gonna be fine in life. Like she, like socially, she's got it. Like she'll be fine. There's some story, but yeah, I guess I've never shied away from that. I've always had a great community of friends, and friendship was really important to me through college. And then in that first week, I became friends with Hillary Maxim, fantastic runner from Maine, Jenny Lucy, another great runner from Maine, Corey Connor, who was actually not a standout stud in high school, but became the best runner probably in UMaine history. Those three girls, I think, were a huge part of that shift. That yeah, they were all so much better than me, but they were so nice. And we were able to connect on a lot of different things. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't, overwhelmed and just said, oh, you know what, I'm the worst runner. I can't be here. I don't know if I was the worst one, but I definitely wasn't. I was definitely back of the pack. Yeah, but I think like the people that I met made a huge difference. And honestly, Leck, I owe a lot to him.
Mark Leck, the coach at the time at Orono. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the first time I think like a coach yelled at me. And I just responded to it in a workout. He yelled something like, Bonsey, get up there. And I was like, one, he's even paying attention to me. And I don't know, it just kind of, I have that memory of we were doing mile repeats on this trail at the camp, and he yelled at me, and yeah, I don't know. He wasn't certainly a soft or nurturing coach, but I loved him. He was fantastic.
I think that you're answering a lot of these questions. It's your reaction to it. It's some reason you weren't intimidated by these things. You were excited to be there. A coach yells he yells at you. Other kids might, or other runners might pull back and think it's criticism. You take it and go, he's paying attention to me. I want to get better. And then I remember you being so excited because they had the time trial and you qualified for the team. Do you remember that whole process?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, though, that was just a stepping stone. It was like this piece that was you, the way that you assimilated, the way that you took that energy and turned it into what Kourtney wanted it to be. That's a beautiful thing. And then you kept getting better. And talk about that process. How did you keep getting better? How did you overcome injury? How did you balance the work? You became an amazing student. And can you give somebody who might be listening some feedback to go, this is what worked for me?
Yeah, I mean, well, and you mentioned the injury piece. I actually got injured really quickly into my first year there. So it's actually funny to think back. There were so many hurdles that could have just had me quit, like showing up to preseason and being one of the worst ones, and then getting injured. I think like 2 weeks in, I had this weird quad injury. And we spiked my mileage in that time. I don't want to blame elite training in that sense, but there were certain things that kind of led to this quad injury, and I was out for my entire freshman cross country season. I had to cross train, and I don't even know how I stuck with it, because at that time it wasn't, I don't even know if we were required to still be at practice. Like, I was going into the pool. I think a big part was I had great captains on my team. At that time when I was injured, that I was going into the pool all the time. And my captains who were not injured actually went in the pool with me. And we're like, I'm going to teach you how to aqua jog. We're going to do this. I've always responded to like good leadership, and like even freshman year of high school, I was really close with the older girls on the team, and then freshman year of college, I became really close with our senior captain. For whatever reason, that those relationships kind of clicked. But yeah, I got injured and I stuck with it. I was like, I want to prove myself. I want to keep running. I got a little taste of it with making the team and seeing an improvement in training. And then I was like, I want to come back for indoor. And I came back for the first indoor meet in December. I remember you being there. And I think I ran under 11 minutes in the 3K. That first race back was at UNH on that little 160 track. Yeah. And I think I ran like 10:50 maybe. And my high school 2-mile PR was, we were just talking about 12:21.
Yeah.
So if you do that conversion, I mean, it's quite a bit faster.
It's about a minute faster. Yeah.
Yeah. Than what I'd run, I mean, 6 months prior?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kind of took off from there. And I know I mentioned Mark Leck, and then Ryan Harklerode Park, that we called him. He was coaching the true distance runners at that time, and he just believed in me. And I just remember I would go into his office and we'd have these conversations, and he just like took the time to work with me, figure out what races made sense for me. And I think I attribute a lot of my freshman year success in track to him too.
It seems to me that it's about culture. First off, ourselves, your ability to step into a situation like that and for some reason not be intimidated, to take any feedback and turn it into a positive, and you get a lot of positive feedback. And then to overcome adversity with an injury and then come back and run much faster than you ever have. That's empowering, right? That's exhilarating. That's why we're born to run. So being able to take that, and then your whole college career continuing to get better, becoming captain of the team, and then that culture, you used to talk about that culture all the time and talking about what you learned from them. And then as you got older, doing the same thing with the freshmen and doing the same thing with new people. You seem to be amazing with that type of thing and making people feel comfortable.
Being a part of a community has always been like a core value of mine, just as a person. Like, I've always loved, like I said earlier, like having a community of friends. Like my high school friends, we still talk every day. So that was really important to me. And then, the culture piece, team culture can be really tricky. It can be really, I've really enjoyed the leadership on our team when I was there as a first year. And then, I don't know, there was something about the team. I just always wanted to be around them. It made me feel better. It made me happy. It was so goofy, like, doing our weird things before practice and after practice. And I think when you get a little taste of success It was just so intoxicating. I think you had said this too before, like it is intoxicating. You just want to get better and better and better. And it was, okay, I was becoming a better runner. I was becoming a better student, becoming a better person. And I just wanted more and more of it. And I wanted to just continue to be a part of that program. It was fun to be like, oh, I'm a Division I athlete.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the culture was just, I mean, my best friends from college were really all on the team with me.
And you're still very close with all of them.
Yeah.
And you still get that. And it just seems to me that it's like with young runners, athletes, whoever you are, even if you're just starting to run, it's looking for that space where you can grow. Where can you find positive feedback? And then how do you develop that ability? I always think about running and I think about you have to get yourself to this place if you want to get good at running where you can accept pain. That you have workouts that are going to be painful and you step into that painful situation and you work through it. And it helps you not just with physical pain, but emotional pain and setbacks there. That's what I think the beauty of running is. And that's what I think when people listen to this podcast, that I hope that it's like, oh, this is about the whole person. This is about moving forward and getting as good as you can be, but also accepting when you fail in your culture. And you had this ability to find this place. Do you have feedback for person, young, old, just starting to help them find their place?
I think it's really, never really giving up on yourself, really. I mean, I really didn't have any business being on a Division I team. If you really look at my high school times, and I don't know, I just wanted it. I never gave up. And yeah, I think believing in yourself, and even when, not that people were telling me I wouldn't make it, but even if people are doubting you or you're doubting yourself, just you gotta keep pushing forward. I think, and you talked about kind of like that pushing yourself and that mental toughness. I didn't have that in high school. We know that. Like, I just know any.
You hated going running.
It.
Was it your freshman year when I was trying to take you out? When you would honestly, you would bitch the whole time, you know?
Yeah, it's just awful. And then by the end, I loved it, but I still didn't have any toughness. But I don't know where I somehow that clicked in college, where I learned to hurt. I learned to push through pain, and that was also intoxicating. Of like, okay, how far can I push myself? How far can I go into the pain cave, as people say? Yeah, I didn't have that in high school at all.
And now, as a new mom and a coach and balancing all these things, that strength that you gain from those experiences help you across the board, right? And that, I think that clearly Quinn, your daughter, who's amazing, she's going to have this place setting, right? This place of, again, the culture, and then what you're trying to create at the University of New England. Same process. What do you do in practice when you think about those things and how you set up practice and how you recruit young people to your program? That you have a pretty specific way that you coach and do, correct?
Yeah, yeah. It's a big believing in them, because a lot of times I'm the one who believes more in them than they believe in themselves. And I think when you have a mentor who can kind of sit there and say, hey, I believe in you, I think you can do this, I think that's really, really powerful. But yeah, we set up practice in a sense. I tell the athletes practice should be the best part of your day, or one of the best parts of your day. I tell them if it's not, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Like, we really at the end of the day, you need to enjoy it, because I can't enjoy it for you. I can't make you enjoy it, but I can make you a better athlete. I can help you improve and believe in yourself, that kind of thing. But I'm never going to be able to really innately make you enjoy running. You have to have that. So we talk about that as a team. And yeah, it's a lot of conversations one-on-one with the athletes of, no, you can do this. You can do this. And then them coming up to me after races and say, oh, okay. I guess you were right.
Is there anything, I mean, I think about this. This is another piece that I've told people the whole time, is that one of the beautiful things about running is you can try and try and try and you keep failing, right? I think coaching, a huge component of coaching is coaching how to handle failure, because in practice, in meets, you fail more often than you succeed, and you have to have that ability. But in those moments, there are some fundamental magical things that happen at a certain time where all this training and all this comes together in this moment where somebody just goes to the next level that they didn't even think they could get there. And those are the types of things that keep you coming back and that help you with your whole mentality and your whole life process. So you're in the right place with what you're doing, which is a beautiful thing. I want to have you back on this because we have so many funny stories that we were talking about before we get on there. I mean, I haven't always been the guy that said you could do it. Sometimes I said, damn it, Kourtney. So we can talk about the damn it, Kourtney story later on. I'm so thankful that you are here. I want people to come back to the You Were Born to Run podcast, and I would invite people to contact us. If you got a story that's inspiring, funny, emotional, that helped you get another step in life, reach out to us. Listen each week. Kourt, thanks for coming. I love you.
Thanks for having me. Love you too.
'Cause you were born to run, you were born to live, you were born to lead. You were born to never give up, and always, always believe. You were born to never give up, and always, always believe.